Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for July 21st, 2016. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. Let me just back out a little bit here. Really, in the ES, what we've seen is obviously a price push through the 2120s here, and then prices quietly pushed higher and then held these highs. And so far, we're sitting up here at highs we haven't seen. We're sitting well above the band of resistance that's been resistance over the last couple of years, and still we have not seen a rejection on highs. We've just continued to hold these levels, and until we see a rejection, we're not going to return back toward 2120 just yet. That's why I've been mentioning you got to be patient. You got to watch for the rejection day. Once you see that, you'll be able to play it back toward 2120, which is a very important key level down below. But until that happens, this is still an opportunity here for bulls to continue to defend pullbacks, and obviously we have a clear range that's developing on highs here. So at the moment, we're really not seeing a whole lot to like here in the ES, and we have to continue to be patient until we do see something a little bit better for us to trade. If we take a look at the intraday time frame, which you'll see right here on the intraday basis, here it is, price pushed into 2170 quarter this morning, just beyond the previous session's highs, and was rejected. That's one thing to keep in mind early on, at least. This is the previous session's high. Price came into it in overnight trading and was quickly rejected. Lower high was rejected again, and now we have a downtrending VWAP where prices are being defended here. So already we've seen a rejection of the previous session's high price. Here's the previous session's midpoint. That's going to be very important. And right now we're seeing mostly sideways to down trading. So not a whole lot to like again. But if there's rejections in the 2170 area, remember I mentioned 2172 is perhaps a first test fade zone because it is a 25% of expansion from the 2015 August key range. So that's a very important pivot there that if reached could mark the top here. And that's what I've been mentioning here for a few weeks. 2172 is an important zone. But we have not yet tested it on the money here. We have a bit of a double distribution here on a 5-day basis. So this is the LVN right here, 2163. That's the important pivot in the charts. Bulls want to defend it. Failure to hold it, auctions prices back toward 2152s. All right, let's take a look here at the crude oil chart. Here's crude oil. Let's take a look at the daily time frame of crude. Right now, what you see with crude is mostly that it continues to trade and chop around value here. Let me get rid of these key levels here so that we can see the chart a little better. There we are. Looking at this chart again, this is what I mentioned with crude. We're just chopping around 45.88 2-year VPOC. This is 1-year VPOC just below it in the 45.50s. And this is the key level as well. From the key range low, it's 45.91s. And all price is doing is chopping back and forth around value. That's what you would expect. That's why I brought up 45.88 a couple of weeks ago, saying that this is MCVPOC and we're chopping around it right now. There's no edge when you're chopping around VPOC, but there is an edge at the extremes of the range. So in the previous session, we were able to identify this as a low and play it back to value. And right now, if price hits the outer edge again, 47s, it could be an opportunity to play it back down. If another retest occurs on lows, it could be an opportunity to play it back up. We're likely going to see that persist until expansion occurs outside of this range. So again, we're just chopping around value right now. And again, that's hard to trade because there's no real edge as the entire market wants to trade and exchange hands around value. Now, if we take a look here at the intraday time frame of crude oil, there we are. Basically just trading within a short-term trading range here from 46.10 down to about 45.5. Clear little range right there. Again, if there's a failure to hold that range, you likely auction down back toward the previous session's low. And that could be an opportunity to flip it back up toward value. The same thing, if price gets into 46s, it could be an opportunity to flip it back down above 46.15, opens up a move into 47s, which is the next key area of resistance. Let's take a look at gold futures. We've been talking about gold for some time now and how you have to be patient until our key zone of support is reached. And that basically is the 1306 to 1310 zone. And you can see already price reaching those lows into 13.1070 and seeing a little bit of bounce here. That's what I mentioned before. This LVN is going to be very important. Whenever price does hit that zone, it's already hitting it a little bit this morning, 13.1070, so it came just shy of our 13.10s. But that's an area there that is going to see significant buying pressure, likely back toward the top of this micro composite D-shaped profile, which puts you into 1370 to 1380. So again, that could be a 60 to 70 handle rally off that support. If there's any bounce and a failure to rally, a break of that level will easily open up a move into the next area below, which is going to be MCVPOC. That's 1243.40. So this is an important area of support. Bulls want to continue to look to defend that area for a shot at rallying ahead. All right, lastly, let's take a look at the NQ. Here's the NQ daily time frame. This one has been outperforming its counterparts here. Very, very bullish. Continues to push to new highs even when the ES is not at highs. This very solid rally the previous session and held near highs. So very, very bullish move here for the NQ. We were watching 45.50 for rejection of prices above that level. We were looking for a break of 45.50. We never saw it. So in not seeing it, there's nothing to sell, right? You just have to continue to look to play the short-term directional move until rejection occurs. So right now it's still an uptrending market. And so buying the pullbacks makes a lot of sense. Right here is the midpoint of the previous session's range, which coincides with the two-day highs. So pulling back into that area oftentimes offers an opportunity for bulls to defend and squeeze. So right now you're going to be looking at somewhere between 46.30 and 46.25 for a shot at defending for a continuation. Overall, the fact that price is pushing through 45.50 implies that we could see a move all the way up to the outer edge of the range, and that's up toward 47.40. So we could be looking at further strength toward these recent highs here before anything else occurs. So quiet trending behavior so far, no rejections to be seen just yet. Looking at the intraday time frame for a moment, what you'll notice here, prices trended significantly higher the previous session, just very, very nice bullish advance. And once it got to the highs above 46.45, you see a range has formed now. So we've seen a range develop on highs. So far, prices above the previous session's high have been rejected. And after you see a big bullish trending market, you tend to see some digestion. That's what we're seeing now. So the idea early on is to fade new highs, fade new lows. As this thing builds out up on these highs, it's safer to buy pullbacks because we've been in an uptrending market. So any pullback into 46.40 perhaps could be a nice buying opportunity into 46.50. Any push into 46 beyond 46.60s could offer an opportunity to return it back down. But for right now, pullbacks are a better opportunity to buy than selling. You have to be very careful on the top end. You sell if you're selling for a profit right now. So 46.40, very, very important short-term level. Bulls want to defend it for a push higher. Failure to hold that level opens up a move back toward 46.20 and perhaps even lower into 5-day VPOC. So we'll keep an eye on this key pivot here as we head into the rest of the session. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out the rest of the day. Good luck and trade well.